Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Slime Boss here, and welcome back to a special episode of the Crazy Cat Podcast. Today, I am joined by HylianHero or Hylian Tidbits. How's it going?
That's going great. Always glad to talk about Nintendo. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well. It's a little late, but I think we can. I think we have enough energy to talk about these Nintendo Directs. So, this episode, as you guys know, we usually have a special episode. Well, one so far this year because Nintendo's being weird. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I should probably say that the world's being weird. But we had Hylian on last time to talk about the Nintendo Direct Mini, and so he's back, and we are going to be talking about the partner showcases. But before we get into that, don't forget that we are now on Spotify, Google Play, and iHeartRadio, and anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So click the link down in the description if you would rather listen there and then on YouTube. Anyway, so how do you want to start this off? So if you don't know, Nintendo had partner showcase, Nintendo Direct Mini partner showcases. I know it's a long title. For every month starting from, was it July?
It was July, yeah.
Yeah, July to October, and there was there was one first party thing, but the majority of it is like third party developers, not like indie games because they have the indie worlds for that. Third party developers just sharing their games with the world because Nintendo had nothing to share, or they had very few things to share this year. So they just said, "Hey, partners, come on and we'll share your stuff." So they did one pretty much once a month up until October, and I asked Hylian if he wanted to come on for a discussion about the first one, but he said, "You know what? There's too short. We'll just talk about them all when they're all done." And so here we are. So what? Let's talk about like the idea of a partner showcase to start off.
Oh, yeah. So when the first partner showcase was dropped, everyone was like, okay, it's July. Nintendo's finally going to have their what they thought was going to be their big E3 Direct with
Yeah.
3D All-Stars, assumingly Pikmin 3, Hyrule Warriors, and all that. And it got to the point where Nintendo just randomly announced late at night that, hey, we're doing a partner showcase.
Yeah.
And hopes were still up. They're like, okay, maybe Nintendo will show off stuff here. We wake up the next morning. It was underwhelming, to say the least. Like, they had Shin Megami Tensei 5, I believe, and I think the physical version of Cadence of Hyrule was announced. But
Yeah.
outside of that, there was nothing memorable.
First of all, let's just say for the example of Shin Megami Tensei, people have been waiting for that since like before the launch of the Switch. So I mean that's
Literally
good.
the Switch presentation.
Yeah, I know. So that's okay, but the problem is that people have been basically begging Nintendo for news, like just anything at this point, because we had the Mini a few months earlier and ARMS, and those came and went, and now, or actually, I think even the Isle of Armor was out at this point. So
Yeah.
and so people, even like myself, we were just begging Nintendo to just give us something, and for them to give us this just sort of pissed off the fan base because we basically got nothing. Unless you're into those games, and I personally said, hey, some of these games are cool. Then it's not it's not a huge deal. Nintendo doesn't need to give us anything, but it was just kind of off for them to start doing this without any sort of background or something to go off of, because there was no first party reveals at this point, and this is all they had to give us.
Personally, it kind of felt insulting because we came off the September Direct last year. I don't want to hate on it, but it was kind of underwhelming if you weren't huge into Xenoblade. Flash forward to March, we get the Mini Direct, underwhelming. They really didn't announce anything.
No, January they did have the Pokemon thing.
Yeah, the Pokemon thing and the Smash Byleth presentation.
Yeah, but
We come
again,
to
like
March.
people were mad about Byleth too. So
Yeah, we come to March, we hit another Smash tease with the announcement of an ARMS character coming to Smash. They show off the Pokemon DLC. I don't think they really announced anything new.
yeah, that
And
wasn't
then E3 is
until
canceled.
they had something in July. I think they had like two Pokemon things back to back.
Yeah. And then E3's canceled, so nothing in June. Nintendo's still being quiet besides announcing Origami King
Yep. Oh
randomly
yeah,
on Twitter.
Origami King, and that was another thing too. Paper Mario of all games, it's already a controversial game. Like we already had a lot of controversial stuff this year,
Yeah.
and for Paper Mario, like it wasn't a bad game, and I think that people are trying to like TTYD stands are finally coming to realize that Origami King wasn't so bad. It's a half step towards something
I
better.
haven't beaten it yet, but I've really had a great time with
Yeah,
it.
and
It's
I
the
honestly
closest to
I
the
liked
original
Color
formula.
Splash. I liked Color Splash.
So did I.
There's nothing wrong with Color Splash. It's just people didn't wanted the original formula. But again, it's Paper Mario, and people are really vocal about Paper Mario. And just a few months before, Arlo made Twitter talk about remastering Thousand Year Door. So it's just a lot of bad things back to back.
Well, people that follow me on Twitter know that my Paper Mario opinions are a little bit controversial. I like Sticker Star, and I really did not like Super. So
How dare?
I
Hold
I
on,
knew that was
hold
coming.
on,
I knew that was
hold
coming.
on. I've never played the original two games, so and I've
Oh,
watched
you've
them.
got to.
I know they're good, and I'm sure I can buy it on Wii U or the 64.
Yeah,
And I grew up with Super, but I was never really a Paper Mario guy. I was a Mario and Luigi guy.
I
So
was too.
I loved Super. Like I will fight you over Dimentio. Like just Super was so good. And Sticker Star, I was late to the game. I bought it used, and I just wanted to experience it right before Color Splash came out, and I liked it. But there's a lot of flaws with it, and the people that hate it, I understand where they're coming from.
Oh,
But
I do too.
what I
I
don't
do.
understand is when they yell at the Nintendo over like, oh, it's not like Thousand Year Door. That
Yeah.
there's no precedent on. There's nothing under that. For me, it was just like, okay, the battle system's a little quirky. You know, the desert area is a little weird, but anyway,
And that was my problem with Super. I loved the story. I loved the characters. I loved everything about it. But the gameplay, I just could not get past. I did not like how far they pushed it away from RPG to platformer.
yeah, I thought it was okay, but like, it's just hard for you to experiment with something that people love so much, you know? Because like that's what they wanted to do. With Super, it was supposed to be a spin-off. And then with hindsight now with Super or sorry, Sticker Star and Color Splash, Super just leaves a bad taste, you know, because it's just like, oh, it's not an RPG anymore, but it was supposed to be a spin-off. And then Sticker Star comes out, and it's basically like the same thing but in 3D with
Exactly.
with a battle system that isn't really a battle system. So it's just again a sequence of just unfortunate events with that series.
Yeah.
And the theory that I have is that, you know, I think it was this year or last year, Alpha Dream went out of business too. So now there's going to be no more Mario and Luigi. So it's just like, but the point that the Paper Mario developers were making is that they didn't want it to be an RPG anymore because they wanted to put Mario and Luigi back in the spotlight for some reason. Then they could have, because they were both very different games. Like I know they both had badges, but after Bowser's Inside Story, Mario and Luigi sort of made a name for themselves. So my personal
Mario and Luigi
theory,
is just more consistent.
yeah, my personal theory is that Paper Mario killed Mario and Luigi, even though it was supposed to be lifting it up. So
I
because
disagree. I think Alpha Dream killed Mario and Luigi by
well
those 3DS remakes.
well yeah, but I think Superstar Saga was fine, but they didn't need Bowser. I love Bowser's Inside Story, but I don't think they needed it. And if they
It tanked
wanted to,
commercially.
yeah, and if they wanted to, they could have put it on the Switch. Like at this point, no
Exactly.
one wanted a 3DS game. But another thing is that their first failure was with Paper Jam. First of all,
100%.
it was a mediocre game. It was fine. I liked it, but it was just
did too.
mediocre. It was very short compared to Dream Team. It was it didn't fulfill what you would expect from a crossover, an epic
And
crossover
it's
like
so
this.
upsetting because
Yeah.
that was when they announced that at E3 2015, I believe. That was such a big reveal for me. It's
Yeah.
like,
So it's like, oh, we get to go into Paper World. We get to see all the characters. Like, it should have been a celebration of Mario RPG as a whole. Like, they could have even asked Square to throw in some references from RPG. Like, it could have been a huge celebration, but it wasn't. And
it
part
went
of that,
really just Paper Mario
Yeah.
and the Mario and Luigi universe.
in my opinion, part of that was because of how bad Sticker Star turned out. I
I think
think that
so.
they had a lot of high hopes for the new change in mechanics, and Alpha Dream was like, "Hey, Intelligent, want to make a new game together?" And they said, "Yeah, cool, but base it off of Sticker Star." And Sticker Star was horrible, so I mean, it also
Yeah.
sold really well, so that could have messed up their judgment a little bit.
But so
So,
did Super.
oh, yeah, Super sold well.
Super's the best selling game in
Yeah,
the series.
I think it's actually Sticker Star.
Is it?
Yeah, and like that's the problem is that people were upset that Color Splash was basically a Sticker Star 2 because all
Well,
they
I
saw
know
was
Sticker Star
money.
sold well.
So,
Hold on, I'm looking into this real quick.
but we're trying to going off of a huge tangent here, but
Yeah.
basically the point is that uh, Paper Mario has had a rough history, and for this year to be already as rough as it is, uh, Origami King was just not a good choice, I think. But it's not saying it's a bad game either. So
Yeah.
anyway, as you were saying, you were just saying you were going off of no E3.
Yeah, no E3. We get that random Twitter drop, and I don't know about you, but I started thinking, okay, we know Pikmin 3 is heavily rumored. We've had the 3D Mario collection being rumored as well. And even back then, it was 2D Metroid.
Yeah, and
And
there
it
was
like, okay,
there are so many rumors and so many things that backed the rumor. So many things
yeah.
that it was just all accumulating. Especially because we haven't had any news from Nintendo. It's like, all right, Nintendo, where's that direct? Like it was
And
like
it's not
everyone was
even
like
that
it was inevitable, and if
it's not even that we needed a direct, but it's like
something,
I had the assumption that okay, we're getting going every month or so. They're going to drop a big game on Twitter.
yeah,
And after Origami King, that just didn't happen until August with Pikmin 3.
yeah. And
So
there's
we were
another
all kind of
thing
like, what the
too.
heck?
Yeah, there's another thing too is that Super Mario Maker 2 had its final update.
Yeah.
What? Like I thought it was gonna last way longer than that. First of all, and because I think a lot of this, was connected to COVID as well. What it looked like in that update is they sort of like had big plans for the world map and stuff, or the world maker, and then they sort of just started throwing stuff in there, like the Mario 2 mushroom. I had a feeling that was gonna be its own game mode, and that they ran out of time, because I really felt like because they only had what 2 updates. There was a 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So
I don't
a
really
lot of
think
things were
they
just
saw
cut
the
off
value
short.
in it.
Really?
New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is outselling it by a pretty good margin.
Oh, well, because
And
it's
that's
just
a
new Super
basic
Mario
Wii
Bro.
port.
And
Well,
but
yeah,
that's the
but
problem
still.
I have with it is that like I thought that Super Mario Maker was going to be the next new Super because or taking over for the new Super series because everyone was bashing it for being too samey, and the same thing for like they were just saying it's the same. You can basically play any game in the series and have your fill, and I for a long time I was like, all right, are we gonna get new Super Mario Bros. Switch? Are we gonna get new Super Mario All Stars, something? But they just came out with new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and I was kind of disappointed. But it's I don't know. Because another thing too, from what I've heard from the developer of Super Mario Maker from 2015, is that they wanted people to make levels and see what they wanted from a Mario game, from a new Super Mario Bros. Game, and sort of they would take those ideas from levels and create a new game out of it, and that never happened, especially after the sequel came out. So it's just
Those Mario Maker games have sold well. I believe 2
yeah,
is hanging around like 5 or 6 million, so it's a success.
yeah. It's not a bad game, but it's just like they just cut it short.
I
And
think they cut it short because they saw that new Super Mario Bros. U, a basic Wii U port with basically nothing added, is selling at a faster pace and more consistently than Mario Maker.
yeah,
And
and
they're like, okay, let's not put our time into this. Let's put it into something else.
yeah, I just really hope that they do make a new Super Mario Bros. Game. There's 2 things I have to say. One is that my cousin, he's like 5 or 6 or something like that, and he loves Mario, but his parents bought him Super Mario Maker 2, and I was like, you can't. It's a little too complex for him, and especially like
Yeah.
even if he just played levels, like that would be too hard for him. And they actually bought him new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe first, and so I guess that's one of the reasons why, especially when the Switch Lite came out, is that the Switch is now sort of catering towards casual audiences, and Super Mario Maker 2 is not very casual in any
No.
sort of the imagination. Another thing as well, I was genuinely surprised that they announced 3D World because, one in Mario Maker and two as a game because of Captain Toad. What are they going to do with the Wii U levels? Because they just completely removed them, especially in the 3D. First of all, they made a 3DS game. Why? But they added the Odyssey levels, and they also added DLC last year. So it's just like they don't. I mean, first of all, Captain Toad's done, but there's now that 3D World's on the Switch. It's just like, well, what about the 3D World levels too?
The ones that were in the original Captain Toad, we're not going to see those again. I think they're pointless. They were cool, but they were pointless.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they were literally just 3D World levels, I think, and then
exactly
the Odyssey levels were like actual Captain Toad levels taking place in like New Donk.
They had actual effort put into them.
Like I said, it's not. I'm not upset that it's not there. It's just kind of weird now that we actually have 3D World on the Switch too. So
yeah.
Anyway, so
I mean, maybe they'll add them on to just 3D World. I doubt it, but it's possible.
Yeah, I mean that would be interesting. I wonder if they actually are making new Captain Toad levels for the game itself. Because the idea came from 3D World. So
it just depends on what the Bowser's Fury content adds.
Yeah, because that's a huge mystery as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so we went from July, or it was like probably April, or June that they announced the Origami King. Yeah, and then we got Pikmin in August, but they're basically nothing until September. But before that, we had 2 more Nintendo Direct partner showcases, and I think one of those actually announced for the first time Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. So if you're a Nintendo person only, you probably didn't know that Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory was coming to Switch. You probably didn't know that. So I thought it was okay that they put it in there. I think that was probably the biggest one. But a lot of the stuff that was in there that disappointed me was just like, they added World of Tanks, I think, which is like a mobile game. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
For me, the July one was decent. Shin Megami Tensei was a cool thing to show up. The one in August was just so full of nothing of value besides Kingdom Hearts that I just flat out didn't see the point. Like, I'm going through it right now, and there's nothing there. World of Tanks.
Was just July?
That boxing game that looks so...
Oh my god, it looks horrible.
The WWE thing?
Yeah. Okay, wait, this one is July. Okay, Cadence of Hyrule was okay. That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool to see some DLC.
Rogue Company...
August... Oh, go ahead.
Rogue Company is getting a lot of love as well recently because it's a shooter.
I gotta amend my statement. The one in August had Just Dance 2021 and Puyo Puyo Tetris 2.
Okay, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 was cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Nothing huge.
What's the other one? Wait, what did you say the first?
Just Dance 2021.
Okay, yeah, Just Dance. Ubisoft needs to stop. I have a gripe on that because why can't you just make Just Dance Switch or Just Dance New or something instead of like having it one per year?
Enough money.
Why can't they release DLC tracks?
They already do.
Exactly.
Knowledge.
Why don't they just do that every year? Like, I feel like people would have more interest in it because if they release it every year, if they release one every year, then most of the time, if they want a Just Dance game, why would they buy the new one when they can buy one from the freaking value bin?
They must sell well enough to keep getting made, so somebody's obviously buying them. I don't think it's anyone that actually plays games more so than just a casual hobby.
Yeah. Oh, Final Fantasy Legend as well. First of all, I love the fact that Square Enix is finally opening up to Nintendo again. Yeah. After so long, like obviously Kingdom Hearts, a ton of Final Fantasy ports. Like, I've never played a Final Fantasy game, but if I ever wanted to, I can get into any of them. Like, I could get into Final Fantasy VII, one of the best games in the series. I can get into 10 and 10-2. I can get into the older games. Like, I literally can get into anything, and it makes me happy because, the potential of, Geno maybe making it to Smash, or maybe a new Mario RPG or something, The fact that they're buddy-buddy again is just really cool.
Now, if only we could do that with Kingdom Hearts.
Okay,
it's cool to get
they
the
did say
spin-off.
they did say that. Okay, first of all, there's a surprise coming, from what I've heard
I heard about
from
that too,
Nomura,
yeah.
but Nomura also said we can't bring them to Switch.
Which I don't.
I don't get
I
it.
can get not getting 3.
I
But there's no excuse.
1.5 plus
everything
2.5,
else.
easy,
Yeah.
easy. Like, I don't know about 2.8, but 1.5 plus 2.5, that's okay.
Like, these are
Like, even with the
10
Switch
plus
Pro,
year-old
like, what about the
games.
Switch Pro? Like, that's easy to, or, they could probably bring Kingdom Hearts 3 to the Switch Pro.
I don't want to go too deeply into the thought of the Switch Pro, but I really don't think it's going to be that much of a hardware increase to get those kind of games, just because I don't think they're going to make them exclusive. There's no point.
Yeah, from what I've heard, well, they did do it with the new 3DS, but there was, like, very, very few games that were
And
exclusive.
look how that turned out.
What?
Same. The games just didn't sell well. Like Xenoblade.
Xenoblade,
didn't.
well, Minecraft. You want Minecraft on your new 3DS? I bought it.
Okay, you're one of the probably 25 people who did.
But I have a feeling that the new 3DS hardware sold better than the original, because the original already had a faulty start, because of and then they also had the price drop. But the problem with the 3DS is that they released a new freaking console every year for like
Yeah.
5 years, which was crazy. So
Well, the thing is now, if let's say the rumors are true and a Switch Pro comes out Q1, Q2 of next year, that will be after the holiday season, and the Switch hardware numbers will probably be about 75 to 80 million, sold probably closer to 80.
I think that they need to have the hardware improvement, or the hardware improvement, because of Joy-Con specifically, and also because like they can't just say, oh, we made a new Joy-Con, why don't you just make a new console?
Yeah.
And then also now that, because for some reason Nintendo makes new consoles mid-cycle, mid-generation for some reason, like the Wii U, the Switch, and now like they're behind. They've always been behind Xbox and PlayStation. It doesn't matter really for graphics, but like the only thing holding them back now is graphics at this point, because like now that companies are finally saying, hey, Nintendo, I'll put my game on your console and you can play it portably. Like, all these super cool games are now being able to be played portably. But a lot of the games you can't play because the hardware limitations, and most of that is because it is portable. And
Get that.
I don't think that Nintendo's always been good. Like, their 3DS, even though it's probably, it looks pretty bad, especially with games that they tried to port there, they've had great games come out of it. They looked like Pokemon X and Y, such an old game, but I still think it looks great.
Yes.
And a lot of games still look great, and even though they're on older hardware, so it's not like they need to have a hardware revision, and they've never needed to do so in the past. But I think now is probably the best time more than ever, because even Xbox is saying it. Like, they're getting better in graphics, but like Xbox isn't trying to compete against Nintendo and Sony anymore. They're trying to innovate. They're trying to do something different. So I don't think it would hurt Nintendo to, upgrade.
The problem with that is if they're going to do a mid-gen refresh this far into the game, there would be no real point to get third-party developers to make games for this Pro system specifically, just because of the small attach rate it's going to have. Let's say the Switch sells 120 million lifetime, and that's being probably too optimistic.
Well, a lot of games too on Xbox One, when they did the mid hardware revision, there wasn't many games that were made specifically for Xbox One X.
I can't think of a single game that was exclusive to the
But
X.
there was a lot of things that you would be missing without getting an. A lot of people I know actually got an X or an S rather than the original one.
Well,
So,
yeah,
and I think probably the same would happen for the Switch if they keep the hybrid model. But I have a feeling that they're not going to do that because the Lite is pure portable. I think the Pro is going to be pure console. So if they
but the
want to keep the hybrid, I think then there's no point.
but the problem with that is if the thing with the Xbox One X with the normal Xbox is every game could play on both systems.
Mm-hmm.
With the Switch, I don't think it's that cut and dry. Like, I don't think we're gonna get Kingdom Hearts 3, let's say GTA 5, stuff like that on a Switch Pro exclusively just because
Yeah, and I don't think
they don't.
GTA 5 would run too horribly on the Switch.
It wouldn't. They're
Yeah.
Rockstar's just too lazy to do
Yeah.
it.
And Rockstar's too lazy to do it, yet they freaking are re-releasing GTA 5 for Xbox Series X again.
Yeah, I don't get it. I
And
really like they tried it with LA Noir and then they gave up.
like things that I get and I understand. Minecraft with RTX, Final Fantasy VII remake, like those things. Yeah, of course they're not coming to Switch. Like but like even the games that run poorly, I don't think someone would really care that much. Like, I think Crash is like pretty. I think it runs at like 30 frames or something. Or if it's it's pretty bad if you're like really into the graphics and stuff. But like even if they just port it, it's not a big deal to most people as long as they get to play it portably. You know?
Not to go too much on a tangent here, but I think we've got another 2 to 3 years of the Switch before the actual successor comes out. I think between now and then we're
Like
just gonna get
full on
few-
successor like Switch
yeah,
2,
like the
Switch
2.
U.
I'm thinking sometime 2023.
I
Whether it be spring or holiday.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that. I think that the Switch will last the same, if not longer, than the 3DS. I think that this is going to be the first console to do so.
I cannot see that happening.
Because the Wii U was a failure, and
the hardware. Well, yes, but you just said the hardware is already becoming outdated. A Switch Pro is not gonna keep that going for another 4 or 5 years.
I think that it will. That's the thing. I don't like. It's a very niche statement because they freaking released the console mid generation, so that's their fault. But I honestly think that it would last for a really long time. Even if they do a Switch Pro, I think it'll even elongate that even further, in my opinion. But the reason
you're past the new generation of consoles coming out, the more technically advanced the games are going to get, which just means less coming to the Switch, let alone the Switch Pro.
That's the other thing too, is that I'm not sure where gaming is going because with Google Stadia, that was a great idea, but it was a commercial failure because it's not ready yet. It needs to sit in the oven a little bit longer. It's not that time because people still are attached to their physical games. But I think that Stadia definitely is the future of gaming. So with the Switch, I don't really know where it stands right now because the hybrid console idea I think is amazing and I think it'll go for a really long time, but I don't know because I don't even know what the future of gaming is right now because I don't even know if Xbox knows.
I think Nintendo's gonna get rid of the hybrid thing because it's just sold too well for them. It makes too much sense and honestly it's too simple to do now.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to be a 3DS successor because the Switch is a hybrid. Because I mean I would love it, but because the Switch
see them split their games into again.
That's the other thing too. Like because the Switch is hybrid, you now open the door for way big. Like you can bring 3DS games to the Switch. You can bring 3DS series, I mean, to the Switch, like Pokemon, and you can bring console games over to the Switch. And that's the thing that I love about the Switch. Again, like I said, because now that we have portable games on the Switch, we now have Nintendo's big first-party games on the Switch. We also have big third-party games coming to the Switch. Like another thing too, like here, in one of the directs they showed off. I've now lost it. Ori. They brought freaking Ori to the Switch. Like Cuphead. Like these are big third-party games, or from Xbox, and they run decent on the Switch.
And this is why the Switch is selling so well. We're getting everything from the home console and handheld side from Nintendo into one system, which means more games more frequently. and
Mm-hmm.
it's powerful enough to get a decent lineup of third party.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the best of both worlds. However, as we move forward into the next generation, we're already having troubles getting current gen game, well, now last gen games as of next week on the Switch.
Yeah, so
The
it's
only reason we
it's
get
just a
these games is
question.
because we have. Hold on, sorry. The only reason we are getting, let's say, Doom Eternal stuff like that is because we have dedicated developers making the ports. If it wasn't like if it wasn't for Panic Button, we wouldn't be getting half these games. The developers would not care enough.
Yeah.
All right, what's your question?
No, I was just saying that's the question. Like,
Oh, okay.
if Nintendo wants to continue with this hybrid idea, which is a great idea, I don't know if they have to sacrifice quality, because the hybrid idea, it's already working so well, but I don't know how long like the longevity of it, like especially if they, like, that's why I said if they do make a Pro, like, I think it has to be home console dedicated, because I don't know if a portable 4K system can actually work, because it can barely work as a home console.
Yeah,
Like,
it
imagine
would.
if you're lugging around an Xbox One X, like okay,
Yeah,
even the next generation console, they're like 4 times the size of the Xbox One X. They're massive. The
as long as
PS5 is
the
massive.
as long as the hybrid is the main focus for them, they can have the Switch Lite that's handheld only. They could do a Switch Pro that's home console only. But they need to make sure that every game can play on all versions.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
the other
just,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. Because, yeah, there's no reason to even try to attempt making the Switch screen at 1080p right now, even. Just
Yeah.
focus on a basic 4K system, console only. People who want that will buy it. Just
That's
like the people who want a handheld only will buy the Lite.
that's what I want from the Switch Pro, is that I want it to be an option for those dedicated fans that want to be in 4K. But that's the
That'd be
problem I
great.
have. That's the problem I have with next gen, is that it's basically a requirement now, and that causes costs to go up. Like, even
Exactly.
games are gonna probably, if get $10 it's more expensive. Like, $60 isn't, like, I was happy with coughing up $40 for a 3DS game. Now we're probably gonna end up spending 70, even $80 for these bigger, like, games are probably getting to the point where your developers are spending as much money as movie developers. And
Probably more
that's,
so.
yeah, it's great, it's awesome that we're getting these great experiences, but I don't know how that's gonna fare for the casual market. And especially when Nintendo, that's like their market.
Yeah.
They're the Marios. That they're the Marios, but you
And
understand what I'm saying.
for the rest of the Switch generation, we're not going to see that price increase for them. And it really just depends on what they want to do for the Switch 2 or whatever it's called. If they want to bump that price up to $70, it is going to make it more of a hard sell for a lot of these games. So they need to find a balance, which clearly they haven't, as they're selling Wii U ports for full price.
Oh yeah, that's
Alongside their AAA Breath of the Wild, Smash Bros, stuff like that. I don't get it.
that's the problem I have with the Switch, is that I understand where Nintendo's coming from with these ports, because they wouldn't have done it in the Wii U generation, because you had the ability, basically since the Wii and basically since the Game Boy Advance, to have backwards compatibility. And with the Switch, now that we moved over to cartridges, which I thought was a weird decision at first, not as so much anymore, it it basically caused them to have to port these Wii U games, because they didn't have enough time in the spotlight. So because we
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
because we don't have backwards compatibility anymore, and because the Wii U failed, they needed these games to actually have the time in the light. Mario Maker 2, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, like Pikmin 3 Deluxe, it is one of the prime contenders. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, probably the biggest game on the Switch, is a Wii U port.
Exactly. And I don't think a
And
lot of people realize that or
yeah,
think about
so
that too much.
they kind of have to, but that's my gripe with it. Like, I mean, they could have easily sold it for,
But that's the
$49,
thing.
but I don't think that they would, because, like, but that's another thing that I have a problem with, is that each Wii U game has a varying level of deluxe to it. Like,
Exactly.
and that's where my problem lies. Is that I don't know if, in your opinion, that Pikmin has enough to call it deluxe, but I know for a fact that Mario Maker New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe does not have enough to call it deluxe. So
So, like, the Wii U screwed every single one of these games over. They all deserve so much better, and I am so happy they've come to Switch.
oh,
But games that,
Wonderful
yeah, go ahead.
101.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they deserve to sell better, and every single one has been a success story. And I see no different with Pikmin 3. It's probably going to become the best-selling game in the series. Hopefully, it'll get their make 4 faster, but we'll see.
Yeah,
But
like I
they
think
don't go ahead.
did Pikmin 2 come out before Brawl?
Pikmin 2 was on the GameCube.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
yeah,
thought it came out like at the same. I thought it was a Twilight Princess scenario.
Pikmin 1 was right around the launch window of the GameCube. Pikmin 2 was a couple years later, and then it was a 9-year wait for between 2 and 3.
So my problem is that, or well, not my problem, but Smash Brothers is one of the biggest sort of advertisements for these games, and Pikmin is one of those games where, and sort of like Fire Emblem, where you're introduced to these characters in Smash, and then you start playing their games. So with Fire Emblem, all these big characters were introduced in Smash 4 and Smash Brawl, and people started playing the 3DS games, and then ultimately Three Houses became probably one of the biggest Fire Emblem games
It
in the West.
actually has been confirmed today that it is the best-selling Fire
Yeah.
Emblem game in the series.
So with Pikmin, I think it was perfect because they added it in Brawl. So it's just been, they should have released the game on Wii, I guess.
And they Miyamoto wanted to, but he just kept getting distracted.
Yeah.
Plans just wasn't going through.
And so Pikmin 3 would have been perfect, even though it was on Wii U. They just couldn't do it because it was on Wii U. So having it be on the Switch is literally perfect. But I feel like it's so late now that I hope it does well. And but I just have a feeling it's going to be rough, especially when it came out this year of all years.
Just seeing launch sales, Pikmin 3 is poised to do pretty well.
Okay, that's
And-
good.
But the thing is, for the Pikmin series in general, they have a bad habit of only launching on Nintendo's failed systems. 1 and 2 were on the GameCube. 3
Yeah.
was on the Wii U.
Well,
So it's like,
Hey,
it feels like they're
Pikmin.
always setting
You wanna
the
talk about
series
Hey,
up to
Pikmin?
die.
Do you want to talk about Hey Pikmin?
Let's not talk. That game doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's Pikmin 4. What are you talking about?
I disagree.
Anyway, back on sort of the partner showcase.
Wii U. Oh, I have one more thing about the
Okay,
Wii U.
go ahead.
It's like they would sell so much better if they
Yeah.
were $40. I don't care how much they add. $40, maybe 50 for like the Mario ones, and let's
Yeah.
say Wind Waker, Twilight Princess get ported.
I hope so.
But there's no excuse for Donkey Kong Country and
Oh, yeah.
Pikmin that were being
And-
sold for $20 on Wii U to get bumped up to 60.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they add very little content.
I forgot about that because you could buy it on the Wii U. Was it Pikmin, actually, that got removed from the Wii U eShop, and then they
Pikmin
added
was
it
brought
back.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why?
Tropical Freeze never got added back.
Yeah.
Though.
So, like, you missed your opportunity to get it for $20. Haha.
Well, I mean, you can get it physically, but
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Yeah. With the partner directs, they also added in September the Monster Hunter games, which is big.
Those were huge.
Yeah, but it was in a mini partner showcase, so it was kind of underlooked.
Yeah.
They also finally talked about Bravely Default 2 again, which has been a while.
Finally.
And then there was one more. Oh, Control. Probably one of the bigger games from the other consoles. That got ported to the Switch as well. So
Ported is a strong statement. It's the cloud version.
No.
So
I'm okay. There
I'm
you go.
not
There's
not
another
against
there's that's another thing too, is that they could easily do this cloud thing for. I wanted to say Final Fantasy VII Remake to be funny, but that's never gonna happen. But like Kingdom Hearts 3, because his name's Cloud.
well, I mean, never say never. I think
But, like-
Resident Evil 3 the remake was found in the code of Control.
Oh, okay.
So that
Wait,
one
are
might
they
be
made
coming too.
by Capcom? Is it made by Capcom?
It was either Control. I think they did another Cloud game came out after that. I don't know, but
Hitman
it
something.
might have. Yeah, it was Hitman.
Yeah, so again, this cloud service, cloud games, whatever you do, if you port the game to the Switch and it's too taxing or too hard, they could easily just do a cloud version, or maybe they do release a Pro Switch and they release physical versions for the Pro, but you can still play it on the Switch and Switch Lite if you play the cloud version. Easy
The thing with
solution.
the Switch, it's a lot of people use it as a handheld, and they're playing it when they're not at home. So
That's
in
the other thing,
concept,
yeah.
I like these cloud games. Like I have no problem with them. I will not play them personally, just because I don't see the point. Because I can just play them on other systems. But
But would you really play Kingdom Hearts 3 on the go? I feel like you need to pay attention.
personally, I play 95% of my games at home on a TV. I
Yeah.
very rarely take my Switch with me, but I like that I can have the option to.
Yeah, I
But I
get
also
yeah.
know that a lot of people do take their Switch out.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure if they'd even want to play it when they're not home. It just doesn't seem like those are the type of games you'd want to play.
Yeah, because that's why there's two different sides. There's the Pokemon, and there's the Mario Odyssey.
Exactly.
It's cool that I can take Mario Odyssey on the go, but I'm not gonna play Mario Odyssey on the go. I'm gonna play it at home. I'm not gonna play Pokemon at home either. It's just weird to me. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I want to play it on the go. So it's just my own personal thing. But there's so many. There's
Exactly.
a big
Everyone's
spectrum.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so with the partner showcase, how are you feeling? How did you feel when it first came out, and how do you feel now about the concept of them?
I was livid when the first one came out because this was my own fault. I was hyping up a direct because Kelios and everyone else is like, hey, something's coming mid-July, get hyped. And then we got that, so I was like, okay, it
Get
really is
hyped.
this bad. It is this bad for Nintendo this year.
Yeah, get hyped for Just Dance.
Now that we've had a few months, we've actually had first-party reveals in between. It doesn't feel so empty. I'm neutral on them. I don't think they're anything bad, but I also don't get excited for them.
Yeah, for me, I was like, I wanted a direct so bad, like I could ask for anything, but as soon as I saw partner showcase, I didn't have any hopes. Like I knew that
Exactly.
this was gonna be something different, and I was fine with that. But when the first one came out, I just I needed something. I needed something to grasp onto for the rest of the year, and I didn't really get that until September for me. So, because like none of the
Yeah.
games other than Melody of Memory actually interested me. So for me, I was just like, okay, I know there's nothing gonna be shown here for me, and I knew that just by looking at it. So I wasn't as mad as you. Personally, I think that it was a good idea that they went this route because of the way
Absolutely.
that the year is right now. The way that they tweeted all the games, and maybe they had, maybe they did have a way bigger E3 this year. Maybe Mario 3D World was supposed to come out this year. But I'm glad that they did it this way so that maybe they have to delay it so they can take more time on this game instead of rushing them in the midst of COVID. So I think that's way better. Not, again, like I said, my only problem was I had nothing to grasp onto until September.
And that was the problem. It wasn't even just the partner directs. It was after Paper Mario came out, Nintendo for a good couple weeks had nothing announced first party wise.
I forgot Pokemon Snap, that was huge as well, but
Oh, Pokemon Snap. Let's not even get started on that. But that's going to be a huge, hopefully.
but I feel
next year.
like I feel like Pokemon is trying to step away from the direct name too. Like I feel like they did that Pokemon Presents thing on purpose to not be called a direct. I feel like they did that on purpose, but and same thing with them too. Like I was very upset with the second week because of all they announced was some MOBA. But
Yeah, I was very happy to have slept through that one.
yeah,
I didn't even watch
like
it.
I watched the first one and I was like, oh yeah, Pokemon Snap, like dude, and then they said, oh, tune in next week, and I'm like, what now, Pokemon? Like you already have a DLC for this year, and then they just announced a MOBA. I was like, god damn it. Anyway, but it just, again, like I said, they're like with Pokemon, even with Pokemon Snap, I still don't have Origami King, by the way. I had nothing to grasp onto for the rest of the year. And so now I guess, if you want to, we can even talk about what happened in September. I shouldn't I shouldn't beat around the bush, but if you want to talk about it.
Wait, what happened in September?
The Mario 35th, yeah, the Mario 35th
I
direct.
already forgot.
Okay, so finally in September with the 35th Mario direct, I assume it was supposed to be with the main Nintendo direct during E3.
Yeah.
But holy shit, thank you Nintendo, like you made the rest of my year with that direct. Like
it wasn't even just that. It was getting that, and like a week or two later, they announced Hyrule Warriors. It was
yeah.
like
It was
Nintendo
all in
finally
what
woke
like
up,
yeah.
they're finally here.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know how big Mario is. I mean, obviously Pikmin 3 was huge for you, but that when I found out, I was like, I think I was at work or something, but then they were just like, "Oh, there's a 35th Mario Direct." I'm like, "Hold on, wait a minute." So it genuinely surprised me because at this point I was
a day or two before.
okay.
So
I didn't see that, but for me, I was just like, you know what? Like I lost hope at that point, and so when they finally came out with that, and then immediately after Hyrule Warriors, and then immediately after my dream character Steve, I was done for the rest of the year. I was so happy. So with the Mario Direct, they first started off with what did they a new Game and Watch, which is cool. But at this point, there's people were like so upset. They're like, all right, anything you can give us Mario related, I'll be happy. But when I watched it, I'm like, okay, so everyone's been talking about a 3D World port, you know, with 3D Mario All Stars. I'm like, it has to happen this direct. It has to happen. The next slide, 3D World. I'm like, okay, there we go. 3D All Stars is happening. As soon as I saw 3D World, I knew 3D All Stars was coming.
Same.
So even and then when they announced 3D All Stars, and then they said it's coming out in 2 weeks, I was beyond hyped. Yeah, I was beyond hyped, and I didn't care if it was emulated. I didn't care. All I cared about was playing Super Mario Galaxy on my Switch. I didn't care at that point. So,
like, I don't know if you were following the rumors during that time, but everyone was so confident.
Yeah,
that
I
it
know.
was coming out in September, and I was like,
I did.
Guys, it is late August,
I know.
early September. It's not happening.
Yeah, that's what I saw those rumors too. I'm like, no, I gave up on Nintendo for the rest of the year.
I did too.
I lost hope, and then they gave me everything I could ever wanted in like 2 months. So
yeah, seriously, and that's the thing. They didn't know how to spread out their announcements. I know
Yeah.
they wanted to wait until it was locked in, but March through, frankly,
Well,
for me
I
at
don't-
least August, for everyone else September, there was nothing to grasp onto.
yeah, I don't think it was Nintendo that did all that though. I think that Mario or Nintendo definitely had, you know, something to do with the Mario 35th Direct, but I don't think that. I think it was just pure coincidence that Age of Calamity was announced 2 weeks later, because that's what is it? What's the company?
Koei Tecmo?
Yeah, it's them that did that. I mean, obviously they had to have, you know, they obviously had to ask Nintendo for rights and whatever, but I don't think it was planned that way, because
Nintendo actually worked pretty closely with Koei Tecmo on Age of Calamity's development. Like, obviously they had control, but
Yeah.
Aluma and the Zelda team were working really closely.
I just didn't think that, you know, that we would have. I just don't think that. You get what I'm saying. I don't think that it was had. I don't think it was Nintendo's fault that it was paced that way. But like,
even
you know,
before that, it shouldn't have. Pikmin should not have come out late August.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's
Like,
the other
this-
thing too. They
No,
announced
yeah.
Pikmin, and then it was completely overshadowed by the rest of the 2 months. So
Exactly, and then it launches late October, right before Hyrule Warriors, a month after Mario.
yeah, it's just like sandwiched in between. It's just not a good time for Pikmin ever. So
No, it really, honestly, it should have been a spring game. Like, I know
Yeah.
it wasn't meant to be. I can't fix that, but
another.
it always feels like they send Pikmin out to die. Always.
I know. Another thing too is that I feel like the Nintendo community is more negative than ever recently. Like
Yeah.
when the Switch first came out, and 2018 was fucking amazing because of Smash. Like all year long, we were getting new Smash stuff. But with 2017 to 2019, it was like Christmas morning. Like every couple of months, there's new Nintendo news. Like, and then all of a sudden, like late 2019, Pokemon comes out and people are like, this tree looks ugly. Hashtag bring back the national dex. And then 2020 comes out with Byleth, and everyone's pissed off at that. And then Paper Mario comes out, and everyone's pissed off at that because
Yeah.
they can't make creative characters anymore. And then, then it's Min Min. People are upset that Min Min was a character. Like, oh, you wasted a slot.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like Nintendo fans are more distraught than ever. And I don't know, like, even with the 3D All Stars, they're just like, oh, so lazy. It's just emulated. Like, come on. Like, we have Galaxy on the Switch. Like, what can
I get where they're coming from, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I do too. But like,
last,
come on.
The last direct was mediocre for most. If you weren't an Xenoblade fan, there really wasn't anything new for you there.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon was just really controversial. Byleth, another Fire Emblem character. I mean, we kept having Pokemon Directs. Everyone was like, where's a real Direct? Where's a real Direct? We still haven't gotten one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, okay, now it's an ARMS character. Sweet, but where's the hype?
Mm-hmm.
And then there wasn't really anything until July with Paper Mario.
And they bashed that too.
Yeah.
And they even bashed 3D All Stars. Like,
every game has been getting bashed, really.
And I don't...
Except Pikmin, obviously.
Like, they didn't bash Smash Ultimate. It's... you can desync...
Can you bash Smash Ultimate?
Other than Byleth. Like 29... Was it 2019 or 2018? No, it was definitely 2019. I mean, like, Sans came out that year. I mean, like... It honestly, that was probably the biggest moment next to Banjo-Kazooie. Like, that was 2019, right? That was last year.
Yep, it was.
Yeah, so from going from this huge year, and all of a sudden, late 2019, everyone's pissed off for some reason, and then the world goes to shit the next year. Like, I don't know, it's just, again, like I said, just a series of unfortunate events. It's just all negative right now.
Nintendo fans have a really good 2021 to look forward to.
I hope so.
A lot of things are lining up. We'll probably see Bayonetta 3. Breath of the Wild 2 will very likely come out. We'll probably see the next 3D Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Odyssey 2. We'll get some bunch of Pokemon projects. Zelda's 35th is also next year. I'm expecting to see the Wii U ports finally show up.
Let's talk about that then. Let's see. So for me, I hope, because now that, even though it was, pretty squished, Mario 3D All Stars, like, it could have been way more hype, in my opinion. They already, now that they have a name and a logo and a thing going on, all the way up until March, first of all, which I think they said there's still more to come. I heard. So, and oh yeah, we've heard about Mario Kart Live too. That was cool. Because they have that, I have huge hopes for Zelda. Honestly, I mean, anything can happen, but after Age of Calamity, what are you gonna do? I don't see Breath of the Wild 2 because of the way that they do their mainline Zelda games. They take for freaking ever.
It'll be almost 5 years, November of next year.
Since Breath of the Wild?
March 2022 will be 5 years since Breath of the Wild came out.
Okay, yeah.
And this is a asset reusing, engine reusing,
true.
reusing Zelda. Frankly, if it wasn't for COVID, I would have expected it out this year.
Okay.
Or at least early next year.
So next year, since we already have, so our first party titles already are Bowser's. I'm gonna keep calling it Bowser's a Furry, and people, I don't care. Bowser's a Furry coming out next year. Is there something else that Monster Hunter? Yeah, that's pretty big.
And Bravely Default.
Bravely Default. Okay.
There's nothing really confirmed.
I don't know about Breath of the Wild, but it sounds like a pretty good holiday title.
I think I will bet money on it being the either October or November title. It
now,
just depends on where Pokemon falls.
Will Nintendo do 2 Zelda games in a year?
That's the question for me. Like,
yeah.
I really think we'll get the Wii U games in like a bundle, or either that or just Wind Waker. I don't know. Because
I think it would be. I personally would want like a thing comparable to 3D All Stars. Like they could probably easily just do the 3DS remakes to made in HD and made to one screen, Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, and then they could, add the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, or they can just do Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and then do Skyward Sword, because they haven't done that at all yet. So, especially after Galaxy 2.
Easily selling every single one of those Zelda games for
individually
$60 a pop. Exactly.
I mean, I can see them doing that, but all in one year though, I don't know.
Which is why I don't think it would happen.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that they'll do a bundle with just Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
So
I don't know.
My money is on a bundle. Who knows what's inside of it? But that's my only question is: are they going to do multiple games in a year? Another thing,
I think they could do it in April or May.
Yeah,
and that'll give a 6-7 month window before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out.
Okay, so let's say, because they did do a Zelda game, they did do a Mario game and a Pokemon game in a year before, so they could easily do Mario at the beginning of the year this time, being 3D World, and then they could do Breath of the Wild 2 at the end, and then they could either do some sort of collection in the middle for Zelda, or they can I think that they want Breath of the Wild 2 to come out first though, but they could always do a remake of the Oracle games as well in the Link's Awakening style.
That's difficult because Capcom made those.
True, but didn't they also helped with Link's Awakening, didn't they?
No, they developed the Oracle games and Minish Cap.
Okay, I thought they got their start at like the end of Link's Awakening's development cycle, or the original.
Capcom came along with the Oracle games.
Okay, so maybe don't, because it's basic, because they reused a lot of access from Link's Awakening to make those games anyway. So, or the originals. But they could easily again. So basically, my prediction is that at the beginning of the year we have Mario, at the end we have Zelda and Pokemon, and then in the middle we have some sort of Zelda celebration, something going on in the middle.
Saw my 2021 predictions on Twitter, but I'm expecting a pretty big year for.
But what if COVID gets worse next year?
Then obviously plans will change again, like
so
they did this year.
If plans will change, do you think plans will change, or they'll just be like, fuck it, whatever we had for 2020, let's just put it next year? Because it's technically done. They worked on it really slowly this year instead of releasing it this year. I mean, anything could happen.
Which is why I think that we're poised to have a really big 2021, assuming COVID doesn't just get terrible again in Japan.
Yeah. Another question is, what do you think about Pokemon? More DLC? I assume that there's going to be another game, but what do you think?
I put in my predictions that I'm expecting either Let's Go Gen 2, Sword and Shield 2, or Gen 4 remakes, and honestly, I hate saying it, I'm expecting Let's Go Gen 2.
Okay, I think they explicitly said no Sword and Shield 2. I think they wanted to combine the Ultra games and the the Platinums, the Emeralds into the DLC. I think that was the purpose of that. And technically, they already did release a third generation game by re-releasing the game with the expansion pass. Yeah. So I think that's it. I think they're done for Sword and Shield. So I think I do agree with you. I think that there will be something, but I don't know if there's going to be more DLC, which I kind of doubt because they already released the full game.
No, I don't think so.
Or they can do Let's Go 2, which I really hope. And then obviously Gen 4 remakes at this point. If it happens, it happens. you know. It will happen. It will happen eventually. I just don't know when, because they make a remake at some point, but I just don't know when.
Well, honestly, around the holiday season, I'm expecting a Pokemon title, and if it's Let's Go Gen 2, that would make sense because it will be smaller.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild 2, and I'm expecting to see, if not released, the new Monolith IP that was shown off.
Oh yeah, wasn't that Zelda 2?
No, it looked like Zelda.
Oh, okay. All right. I know that they were working on a Zelda thing too, but they may have just helped out with Breath of the Wild.
They're helping out on Breath of the Wild too, just like they helped out on Breath of the Wild.
There's also Pokemon Snap. Did that say, was that a 2021 release date?
In my predictions, I think it's going to launch sometime this spring. I put May.
Oh, I thought it was a summer game. I feel like that's a summer game. I don't know. Maybe that's just the vibes I got from it. But
It's possible.
um, let's just see. Is there anything new that you expect or want? I guess.
I'm running through my predictions. Like, I think the Zelda ports will launch between March and June, like kind of how we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna get Mario Golf next year. We're finally gonna get Prime Trilogy, Mario Party 2. I think we will actually get a 3D Kirby game next year. I'm
Maybe.
hoping.
I'm hoping there's a new Kirby game because don't they release one every year, even if it's a smaller title?
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
yeah.
And
So I think
we haven't
next. I
had
think
Star Allies since
yeah,
2018.
2018. Yeah. So I'm fully expecting a new Kirby game as well. Do you think we're gonna get any collabs with like Xbox or Sony next year?
No, I think those are over, honestly.
Okay, after Ori, you mean?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get Game Pass?
No.
Okay.
I think Nintendo was talking with Microsoft about that, but I think Nintendo denied it just because they got in the mindset of, hey, if they can just spend $10 a month on this subscription, why would they buy the ports that people are putting out for our system?
Yeah. I see. I just want a lot of. I want a lot of ports. Really.
I
I
do
don't
too.
think that they don't like. I think I want Master Chief, obviously. I mean Master Chief Collection. Sorry, not
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. I
Same.
I doubt this will happen, but I really want the Black Ops trilogy. Those are my favorites. Call of Duties.
I want to see the Mass Effect trilogy that's apparently being announced tomorrow revealed for Switch. I don't think it'll happen.
Tomorrow?
That'd be a
What?
dream come true.
Okay. Uh,
Heavily rumored that because tomorrow is M7 Day or something like that,
oh yeah.
that they're going to be announcing it at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Uh,
PT.
Portal. Obviously, everyone wants Portal on every console, but
Oh, that'd be so cool.
yeah. But obviously, these are high hopes. So you think Ori's it? You think Ori's the last one?
I would love to see something else, but I don't know what else they could do. Like, clearly, nobody cares about Banjo-Kazooie at Microsoft anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Didn't they just say that? I think Microsoft or someone just said that.
It's up to Rare.
Yeah, it's up to Rare. It's not like it's their fault that Nuts and Bolts looks like shit.
I wish Microsoft would just rip that IP away from them and give it to somebody else that cares.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, no
Retro
shame on Rare, but
did a
they're
good.
obviously into their new things.
Yeah, Retro did a good job with the Donkey Kongs. I mean, I wouldn't mind them.
Retro is way too busy right now.
I know Retro. I don't know what's going on with Retro. I think they
Right.
had. I think they had to start over again on Metroid Prime 4, like
Oh,
in the
God, I
last
hope
few
not.
months. Like, yeah. So I don't know what's going on with Retro, but I think they did a good job with the Donkey Kong. So, I mean, so what do you think about Smash next year? Do you think we're actually gonna finish it like they projected, or do you think we're gonna delay?
For my predictions, I put. Hold on, let me pull these up real quick.
Oh, and
again.
another thing, do you think that that's really it for Smash Ultimate?
I
Like,
do believe so.
Okay,
I think
'cause-
Sakurai is because he put it in the Byleth presentation. He was like, "Hey, I was only planning on doing 1 or 2 more characters,
yeah,
but now I'm going to do 6 more because Nintendo has a gun to my head."
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really care. I think I'm satisfied, but
Oh, I'm very satisfied.
I mean, after Steve, I'm done. You know what? I don't care who comes out next.
And that's how I feel about After Banjo. And
Yeah.
we still have 4 more characters,
Yeah.
so it's not like we're
So
at the end yet.
So my problem, I think that we'll have one character in 2022 because of COVID. I think there's supposed to be one more this year, but
I think they'll cut it close. I think we're
yeah.
gonna get Fighter 8 February or March.
Yeah, that's
Fighter
easy.
9 June or July. Fighter 10 September October, and then Fighter 11. I could see it being a Game Awards drop, honestly.
yeah. There was also I thought maybe that they could wait a couple of years and then maybe release like, oh, Smash Brothers story expansion or something stupid. But obviously that'll never
Yeah.
happen. And that's high hopes, but
Unfortunately.
I don't know. Maybe they could take a couple of years off, or maybe Sakurai should just say, Smash is done.
I think
Indefinitely,
Sakurai is
let's-
gonna
let's-
peace out and
Yeah.
do something completely new after this is all over. I don't think he's gonna come back to Smash.
At all, like not even for like Smash 6 years and years in the future.
That's the thing. I don't think we're gonna get another Smash game for another 7, 8
Yeah.
years.
I
And
I
think
was
it's
just
gonna be a
wondering.
reboot with a new producer.
Okay, that would be
As much as
okay.
I hate that concept.
Smash Ultimate put Smash to rest, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's no way they
So
can top
yeah,
this.
so like that's why I was saying like you can't top Smash Ultimate, so don't try because it'll be a failure.
And that's why Smash Ultimate's so bittersweet to me. Like it's not a perfect game, but it is damn near perfection.
Yeah,
And just knowing that the next Smash game is going to disappoint me, it's just
it's
painful.
better that they do something different
I
because
agree.
otherwise it would make no sense.
As long as the Switch
Unless
2 is backwards compatible with Switch games, and it will be, I don't care.
unless they port Ultimate and just keep making new stuff for it. I mean, that would
Which
be
is very
yeah,
possible.
yeah. Another I forgot to mention with other collabs. Is Crash 4 coming to Switch? Like,
Absolutely.
okay, good. Uh,
It'll be
that's
there sometime next year,
yeah.
maybe close to the year mark, maybe next summer. It'll absolutely be coming to Switch.
Anyway, back to Sakurai. I was thinking maybe he could, either do his own project, which would be cool, like maybe the new Kirby, not a new Kirby game, but because Kirby is sort of like his thing, maybe he could make another new character or something.
I was gonna say, I hope he originates another IP
Yeah.
or revives
Or
another
yeah,
past NES one.
he could do that, or because a lot of people really want another Kid Icarus game. Because if he's not going to worry about, because he's basically been working on Smash since Brawl, and basically on his spare time between Brawl and 4, he worked on Kid Icarus, and he had barely any time because he almost died, I think, during Smash 4's development. So
Yeah, it was bad.
yeah, so and then obviously now it's a little bit lighter on him because it's all he has to work on is just the DLC, and he's at home.
DLC
So
development was easier for him, but he still went from Smash 4 development to Smash 4 DLC.
no, he went
Regular
from
Ultimate.
Brawl. He went from Brawl to Kid Icarus to Smash 4 to DLC to
Exactly.
Ultimate. So he's been
Exactly.
nonstop. So I hope he gets a very good long rest and then maybe return to Kid Icarus or maybe
Sakurai
do
is gonna
something
take a
new.
week off, and he's
No.
gonna be like, "Okay, that's enough. I'm gonna start on something else. That was a nice break."
I know. That's because
he's a
isn't it
workaholic,
isn't that the Japanese mindset? Just like
and that's exactly it.
yeah,
And it's scary how
yeah.
devoted they are. It's great to see. I love seeing the passion, but
I think
worry
Miyamoto's been
about you.
done for years though. I
Miyamoto's
think he stopped
over
after
in-
Galaxy. Honestly.
Miyamoto's over in Universal working on the Illumination Minions
Oh,
Mario
yeah.
movie, whatever it is. He's not worrying about.
Oh
games
my
right
God.
now.
I hope that the whole movie is them speaking in Italian and what the Mario and Luigi Italianese. That would be amazing because they already do it with the minions. So I mean, it would just be hilarious.
I'm expecting Mario in New York, a la the Smurfs.
No, you know who making an appearance? Lou, what's his name? Lou. Hold on, I have to look this up now. Not Mario. Not what's his name? Not the voice of Mario.
Charles Martinet?
Not him.
Oh, okay.
Lou Albino or Lou Albino from the
Who
Super
is that?
Show. From the
Oh,
Super
Super
Show.
Show.
Yeah, he's just he's the voice of Mario. I'm just kidding. That would be
Oh,
funny.
that'd be interesting.
I think he has a better Italian version of Mario than Charles Martinet because he's more like Yahoo, and Lou Albino is more like not Italian, but the New York accent.
Yeah. I gotcha. That'd be cool.
I know that was a joke, but
It'd still be cool to reference. I doubt it would ever happen,
yeah.
but
so is there anything else like? Is there like a new? Do you think there's going to be a new IP from Nintendo next year?
I think it'll be the Monolith IP.
Okay. Pikmin 4. Is there a reason why they released Pikmin 3 this year?
From what I've been hearing, Pikmin 3 has been done for a while. I don't know why they were sitting on it. I think it's possible Pikmin 4 gets announced sometime next year for 2022.
Okay. Anything else that we missed out on that we're not thinking about?
Not really. I mean, if everything comes out, Bayonetta 3 included, it should be a great year for the Switch, and it
Yeah.
might even top 2017. But
I,
I
I'm
guess we'll
just
see.
I'm just worried about Nintendo because we're now entering a new generation,
Hmm.
and like I feel like it'll get overshadowed because they're like that's an old concept, like the hybrid that was cool, but now I want a fridge in my bedroom. I want
I don't
a
know.
router in
Like
my bedroom. I want a
at least for the
giant frick.
holidays, at least for the holiday season, the supply is going to be so scarce that a lot of people aren't going to get it,
Yeah,
and
I
families are
think
still going to be buying Switches for their kids and stuff. The
yeah.
Switch is going to be the top selling console for the holidays, I believe.
I hope that Nintendo has something up their sleeve to,
I
because
think they do.
3D All Stars, it was cool, but I don't think it was a banger. I don't think that it's Mario Odyssey levels. I don't think it was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe levels. I don't think it was
And that's why
Breath of the
this year
Wild
is so
levels.
light.
Yeah.
And it's
So next
outside of
year,
Animal Crossing,
yeah,
there was
Animal
nothing
Crossing.
big.
The Nintendo needs to like pull out their punches like right away next year, because
And I think
like
they're going to. I
yeah.
think we're finally going to get Breath of the Wild 2. We're finally going to get Bayonetta 3. I think we're finally going to see Prime 4 unless it was rebooted again.
Do you think that Nintendo will take home Game Awards next year? Obviously not this year. I mean, maybe Animal
Yeah.
Crossing, but what? Wait, what else came out? Oh, Final Fantasy VII remake. Hell no.
They don't have a chance this year.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Next year, do you think though? If
It
Breath of the Wild
really
2 comes out, then yeah,
if
but
Breath of the Wild 2 comes out before the Game Awards deadline, I could see it. I definitely think it'll be nominated. I could definitely see it winning. I don't know if it will.
oh my god.
I don't know if they'll have something else huge before that.
I just had war flashbacks to Smash Ultimate at the Game Awards.
Oh, yeah.
It was okay. First of all, it was right. It was literally at the. It came out the day Game Awards was happening, so that was weird. But it technically counted for next year, and it was on. It was on.
nominated.
It was a nominee, but like, of course, it wasn't gonna win because it's been out for a year. So
Exactly.
it was just it got a bad rap because it was released at such a bad time. So
And I
I
think
think
the
that
same
it would
thing's
have
gonna happen
won
to
2018. Yeah, same. Yeah, it was. I think it's gonna be. Oh, honestly, I think that it's gonna be a big enough game to warrant it at least getting second place though,
Truth be
because
told, I think Cyberpunk is going to get another delay into early next
yeah,
year.
yeah, I know. I
So,
fully.
yeah.
But it's either. But based on what we see is like the only thing that. Well, obviously this could change because we're not even in 2021 yet. But the only thing that I see even remotely getting there is Cyberpunk, maybe 3D World, but I don't think that counts because it's a port, and
3D
also
World is not. No,
Infinite,
It's
and also
it's going to be cool,
Halo
but
Infinite.
no.
Halo Infinite might be on there, but has
Assuming it's out.
I think it'll be out in 2020. I don't. I think it
I
was.
hope so.
Yeah, I. Yeah, I don't know. But like again, a lot of predictions, but anyway, one final thing. Will we see the return of partner directs next year?
I'm going to say yes, but
Okay.
not monthly.
I don't think so. I think this was just a COVID thing. I honestly
I-
just think so.
I think they're going to come out next year, January, February. We're going to get our long-awaited real Nintendo Direct,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe in between that and E3, we get like a partner direct.
Okay. And another final thing. Are we done this year?
In terms of announcements,
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Even for Xbox and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
We may get, I think we're going to get some cool things at the Game Awards. I don't know what to expect there, though. Nintendo's going to announce one or two things. So
At
I
the-
guess maybe. we're
I
not
honestly
there.
lost hope in Nintendo at the Game Awards because they announced. What did they do? Bravely Default 2 and Joker.
But the Joker was 2
That was
years ago, but
yeah. But those are the only two things I can think of. Oh, I get. Oh, didn't they do Travis?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They
But that
show-
wasn't
they
as
show
again.
up
They
to the
don't
Game
really show
Awards
very
every
big.
year. I think we could either see Bayonetta 3,
Oh yeah, Bayonetta. I
another
forgot about
Smash
that.
character, and I'm gonna back this until the day I die, and I know it's unlikely, but Breath of the Wild 2.
I think that. Honestly, I think that Prime is a prime candidate for the Game Awards.
Like 4 or the trilogy?
Something because I think that like Breath of the Wild, yeah, but like I think the Game Awards is a big enough stage where like they need a first party game that's not really looked at too much. Like I don't think they'll ever do a Mario. I don't think they'll. I mean, did they do something
No.
Zelda there at some point? Did they?
They every year that Zelda Breath of the Wild was in development,
Oh,
it showed up at
expansion
the Game
pass.
Awards.
At
It
expansion
was a
pass.
we got the first look of Breath of the Wild in 2014 at the Game Awards.
Oh, they okay. Well, that I don't really count that
We got
because it
a
was called
story
Zelda
trailer.
U back then, wasn't it?
No, it was we got gameplay.
Was it was still called Zelda U, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, yeah, but I don't really count that. I honestly don't count that.
It still was gameplay.
Yeah, I guess so.
2016 we got a story trailer.
So
2017 we got the expansion pass.
I think that I just feel like the Game Awards needs to be a platform for like a Pikmin or a Metroid. I think that
Pikmin absolutely not. Whoever's watching the Game Awards are just gonna laugh at it.
no, I mean that I think that the Game Awards as a platform should be for one of those types of games rather than a Mario or a Zelda. Like, because they did the same thing with Bravely Default. So, because like no one wanted
the TV watching the Game Awards do not care about Pikmin.
Yeah.
Metroid, sure. Zelda, sure. Pikmin,
Oh, of course,
no.
Zelda, because Zelda can be anywhere, and people would be like, they can announce it. They could show a new gameplay trailer at the Kids' Choice Awards for all I care,
Honestly,
and everyone would care. So,
hell,
my
they
God.
could just drop a new trailer on the Food Network one day and it would hit trending.
oh my God, when they started doing Switch collaborations at the Kids' Choice Awards, it was just so weird. Like they did a Mario Maker thing. It was just like god awful. They're like, we have a word from our friends at Nintendo. Here's Breath of the Wild 2. It's coming out today.
It's coming out today, and you can only buy it at the Nickelodeon store,
Yeah.
wherever the hell that is.
Universal Studios. Wait, what do they say at the end of like those shows on like Double Dare and stuff? They're like at Nickelodeon at Universal Studios, something in Florida.
And we got good news. The time exclusivity is back. You can only buy Breath of the Wild 2 for this 1 week.
God damn it! Don't
better
bring me
all
war
catch your
flashbacks
flights.
to 3D All Stars.
Catch your flights because this is not on the eShop.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What if they
Can you
did?
imagine?
Yeah. Oh my God. They just They just announce and shadow drop a huge game at the Kids' Choice Awards, or I don't know what's something even more ridiculous. Isn't there like a
presidential election?
Mother
Mother
3
is available now if you vote for me.
Oh my God, there's so many memes about that.
Oh yeah.
Is Joe Biden saying Mother 3 will now be localized. The entire country turns blue. God. Anyway,
I love it.
any final remarks?
2020 wasn't as bad of a year for Nintendo as I figured it was going to be, but truth be told, I'm still not super impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect very much this year.
I didn't either.
I mean, at first, yeah, because obviously nothing was happening at the beginning of the year. But as time went on with, like, even with, like, BLM stuff, not as much. I don't think that really affected, if it was just BLM, then I don't think it would have affected it as much. But even with that, I think just everything just piled on top of each other. Like, even, like, the Australian fires. Like, Nintendo probably sent their condolences. Remember, they canceled one of the directs last year, and they delayed it because of the earthquake. Nintendo's no stranger to sending condolences. Exactly. So I'm just scared for next year. I'm scared for the future of Nintendo because of this year, and I'm scared for my future anyway.
All I'm gonna say is, don't be scared for Nintendo next year. They're gonna bring it.
I hope so. I hope COVID's done, but
I just hope they get back into the directs rather than just dropping stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very, I don't know. I hope, beg. Let's pray that next year is a big year, because they really need it. Because 2019 wasn't that bad, but it was. Bowser's Inside Story, and what else? What else came out last year? I don't know. What was big last year?
3DS had nothing besides Bowser's Inside Story, like Epic Yarn. This
Oh
still had a lot
yeah.
of good stuff though.
Yeah. I don't know why I said Bowser's Inside Story. There's a couple of good things on the Switch last year. Anyway.
Fire Emblem Mansion 3, I could go on.
Oh yeah, Mansion 3. Link's Awakening. Really? The Switch Lite came out last year. What is wrong with me? I'm just saying it's just not as good of a year as launch year, basically.
2019 was a good mix between the amazingness of 2017 and the lackluster year that was 2018.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Hylian, for joining us. Joining me. Us, because, like, there's all these other people in here.
I love talking to every single one of you.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I'll leave your stuff in the description. Probably just your Twitter this time, though.
Perfect. It was a pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this special edition of the Crazy Cat Podcast, and I'll see you guys next time.